Dear students, in this module we are going to cover the aging issues, how it differs between developed and developing societies. The learning objectives are aging scenario in developed countries, aging scenario that exists in developing countries, and the various determinants of such variations in population aging when we talk about developed and developing countries. As we all seen that there is no much variations in terms of standard of living, in terms of living conditions if we look prior to industrialization. So during the traditional societies, the developed and developing countries have almost have a similar socio-economic conditions, experiencing the level in which the population dynamics that exists among them is also of a similar nature. However, over a period of time, given the industrialization, urbanization, modernization, the changes in the population dynamics occurred, and which also led to the changes in the societies in terms of the way of living of the people, which has affected the various components of population, for example, fertility, mortality, migration in a significant way. The consequences or the effects of these has been clearly seen that the developed countries had a specific issues that their population situation has provided, whereas in the case of developing countries, the population scenario is of different nature. And given these differences in terms of the developed and developing countries reference to the population scenarios, it has its own impacts on various other age groups, and population aging is not exceptional in this scenario. The characteristics of developed countries have clearly shown that the organized way of living, the proportion of urban population, and the occupational composition for the people, and the family transition that has been experienced by these societies have shown a tremendous influence in the living conditions of the elderly people. When we talk about the developed and developing countries, we need to understand that the proportion of elderly population started growing significantly, and it is expected that currently it is almost 20 to 25% of elderly, they are 60 plus age group in the total population. In contrast, the developing country scenario is different. Given the low life expectancy, high fertility, and also high population growth, these developing countries have aging issues, but at the same time, we also know that the population aging, no doubt, is not to that extent, but in terms of absolute numbers, the number is growing. That is why in developing countries, though in terms of percentage, the proportion of elderly is still not significant, but in terms of absolute numbers, it is very high. For instance, in a country like India, where more than 104 million elderly, as per latest 2011 census, constitute elderly population of 60 plus age group. It is almost the total population of countries like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and such other countries. What it clearly indicates is that in terms of numbers, it's a huge segment of our elderly population that requires priority attention if we want to influence and bring out their quality of life issues. Similarly, if you talk about the developed and developing countries, the major issue that comes out is that in developed countries, there is a fair arrangement in terms of addressing the social security issues. The elderly are reasonably placed with adequate financial support, health access to various facilities, and also the quality of life parameters, if we look, they are almost utilizing on par with the other members in the society. What is the situation in developing countries? In the developing countries, as the profile of elderly clearly depicts that their socio-economic conditions in terms of literacy, in terms of their occupational structure, in terms of their per capita income, in terms of the type of family in which they are living. So, the social, demographical, health, cultural and psychological issues are very, very distinct, and they continue to cumulatively add to the agony and the problems that the elderly in these developing countries experience. That is why population aging, when we talk in developing countries, the problems are so complex given the very low socioeconomic and demographic living conditions that our elderly population in our society have. That is where we need to understand that how best we can tune up our own programs and schemes targeting the elderly, especially the needy elderly who are below poverty line, so that their quality of life can be addressed. It is a very interesting phenomena if we look at the international bodies like United Nations, how they played a role in addressing the issues of elderly population. If we see the first World Assembly on Aging, which has been organized in 1982, clearly shows that the elderly issues, especially the developed countries, have clearly brought out their issues, and at that time the developing countries were optimistic that given their strength in the family systems, they are optimistic that aging issues are not going to be their problem. They perceived that these elderly issues are mainly the countries of developed societies. However, exactly after 2 decades, that is in 2002, the Second World Assembly on Aging, when UN has convened, the issues that are being addressed in that platform was mainly by developing countries, and most of the developing countries have come to the conclusion that no more their family can take care of all the needs of the elderly population, and given the weakening of the family ties, given the nuclearization, given the changes in the family structure, given the individualization that all the family members are currently experiencing, it is highly disadvantageous when we talk about the elderly issues. And thereby, most of these developing countries in Second World Assembly on Aging have accepted that their elderly are in a highly disadvantageous condition, and to address their quality of life, the UN has been requested to address on a priority basis. This way, we need to understand that at international level, both developed and developing countries, the elderly issues are rightly raised, and various platforms have been on a regular basis to address these issues are already there. International organizations like Helpage International, there are several international other bodies are on a priority basis focusing on various issues of elderly, and that is why we need to address how best the aging issues are accommodated when we talk about developed and developing countries. If you look at the response towards aging issues in both developed and developing countries and how they differ in terms of policies, programs and schemes targeting for elderly population, there exists a huge variation. In that sense, we need to understand how the developed and developing countries differs in terms of the living conditions. For instance, in developed countries, the policies are rightly framed and they have a huge existence in terms of placing their programs and schemes, so that there is a lot of issues that to a great extent these countries have already addressed and placed good practices with a valid tested modules, and the models of care, for instance, have been fairly with the tested models that has been already placed. In the case of developing countries, aging itself is a recent phenomena, and given these aging issues coming in a big way, the platforms in terms of the interventions by various stakeholders, both government and NGOs, are yet to gear up. In that sense, the quality of life of elderly, especially with the new programs and schemes, are yet to pick up in most of the developing countries. In that way, we need to understand that given the resource crunch, given the priorities that exist among these countries in terms of development, in terms of the other issues related to reproductive health, related to children, and all these things, the priority of interventions in improving the quality of life is not significant and to the extent that is desired. To that extent, we need to understand that how best the challenge in addressing the aging issues experienced by developing countries is really a priority that we need to know. As we discussed, in the case of developed countries, the realization that aging is here and the way in which the industrialization and urbanization has made inroads in influencing the quality of life of elderly have clearly brought out to the notice that the elderly issues, to extent like issues related to food security, issues related to finance security, health security, no doubt they are relatively better off in developed countries. However, the other issues like non-economical and also social, psychological, which are all of beyond the financial issues, requires in a major way to address over a period of time. That is why when we talk about developed and developing countries, the issues are more or less are also different nature, but however, the type of systems that are placed to address their needs are of varying nature. As we saw that developed countries have a huge advantage because they have succeeded to a great extent in placing the systems to address certain financial issues, in improving the healthcare, and also making various infrastructural developmental issues which can be positively addressing the needs of the elderly. However, in the case of developing countries, given the elderly population of retirement or from those who have experienced in their occupations from informal sector, where there is no assurance for retirement and there is no pensionary benefits, these elderly from developing countries who constitute majority experience very low quality of life in the absence of regular income of their own. Furthermore, the issues that the socio-cultural issues like the type of response from the young members towards the elderly, the type of cultural issues that are experienced by the elderly also have a tremendous influence in terms of status, respect, dignity, independency, and other principles of elderly care that are at stake. Furthermore, already with inadequate resources, when the young members are placed, furthermore will be issues like rural-urban migration, which will force the young members to move away from the place of origin, seeking for livelihood issues and settling in urban areas by leaving the elderly and other vulnerable groups at the place of origin. These issues also brings to the notice of how best these young members can see that their elderly who are in their place of origin can be taken care of. One of the aspects is that given the low resource base and also the low purchasing power which these elderly experience, their day-to-day living aspects becomes a huge challenge. Then already the community which is around the elderly members also may not be conducive in terms of infrastructure facilities, in terms of security issues, and all these also have an adverse effect on care of elderly in rural areas. Furthermore, if we talk about urban areas, there is a majority of them being living as poor by staying in poorer localities like in slums. The quality of life of elderly becomes another issue here in urban areas. In urban setups, the main issue is with the growth of slums, their facilities are at a very difficult, and the elderly are major segment of population who also experience such adverse situations. In that sense, when we talk about developed countries and developing countries, this huge difference in quality of life is a major issue that requires our attention. What are the aspects when we talk about the population aging? One important which we need to understand is that population aging in developed countries like France, Germany, many European countries, and in Asia and like Japan, when we talk, there is a very significant thing that we notice is the speed of aging. The speed of aging in most of the developed countries took a significant time to double its elderly population. For instance, a country like France has taken more than 120 years to double its elderly population, whereas a developing country like South Korea has taken only 12 to 14 years to double its elderly population. A country like India, where around 20 years we are doubling our elderly population. In that sense, the developing countries are experiencing the population aging in a significant way, and that is why the speed in which aging is occurring is a phenomenal in a developing country. The reasons why developing countries are experiencing such fast growth of elderly population is that the life expectancy started increasing thanks to the imported medical technology from developed countries, the public health measures that are taken care of, which is having a tremendous influence in minimizing the infectious diseases, the nutritional status, how it fairly has a change in influencing the people in developing countries, and also the immunization and other such things which have contributed in reducing the morbidity conditions have all tremendously have a significant effect on increasing the life expectancy. That is why the more and more elderly people in developing countries started coming to 60 plus age bracket. That is why the proportion of elderly population in developing countries is much faster to come to 60 plus, whereas in the case of developed countries it is little steady and slow. Now, given the speed of aging that is experienced, what about the other aspects of development? What type of conducive environment we are creating, and what type of public policies are reflected, the type of responses from government, community-based organizations and other self-help groups. Unless these are also geared up to that level of matching, it becomes a huge problem for elderly people in these societies. That is why when we talk about that the higher life expectancy, the quality of life for these elderly people in the developing countries becomes a big problem. When we look at the profile of the elderly and with respect to various class group and socio-economic other categories, we need to know that when we talk about elderly issues, it is simpler if we say elderly in general, but given the heterogeneity among their conditions, given the huge variations in the way of life what they are experiencing, and also the differences with respect to gender, with respect to class groups, with respect to geographical locations in which they are living, all have a tremendous effect in showing that within developing countries huge variations exist with respect to gender, with respect to class and other social groups. It clearly shows furthermore that given the population aging which is occurring relatively at a higher speed among female elderly, the population aging issues are tilting towards female elderly issues. That is why the concept of feminization of aging is a huge issue that is especially coming in the developing countries. Given this, we need to understand that the population aging is a natural, largely irreversible consequences of demographic transition that all countries are going through and have completed. But as fertility falls, the proportion of children in population declines, and older or healthier adults assume an increasingly greater proportion of the population. Thus, population in developing countries are aging at 3 times the speed of population in developed countries. The projection shows that by mid-century, these less developed regions as a whole will achieve an age structure similar to that of today's more developed regions. As a consequence, we need to understand that labor force to population ratios will increase in most developing countries, and by 2000, projections show that working age people will account for 65% of the population, which means that population aging will not hinder the pace of economic growth. That is why it is explained how dependence ratios, the segments of population that depend on working age adults, how that change is very interesting for us to understand when we talk about population aging. Another important thing is that the issues that confront the elderly people also requires that how best and suitable, appropriate and effective model of care can be built for the society, whether it is separately for developed countries or for the elderly who are living in developing society. For instance, if you talk about suitable healthcare models, what is the situation in developed countries? In the case of developed countries, it presents an ideal case of public provision of health and social care to its population in general and elderly in particular. The services provided to the elderly are designed and provisioned based on elderly needs and their social context. So, various models of care are available to cater to a variety of elderly needs. Health and social care systems in developed countries have been able to provide a range of prevention, primary care, management of chronic diseases, geriatric care, and more formal long-term care to a prodigious extent to its elderly and are constantly upscaling. In that sense, what lessons the developing countries in these issues can learn from the developed societies is very important and also need to be considered. Now, when we talk about the lessons, the focus on preventive and promotive care is one important aspect we need to know. Promoting aging in place by providing adequate social care services is another issue. Active screening of elderly for level of formal care needs, need-based care provision which can address equity issues, then interministerial coordination for provision of holistic care and avoiding duplication of various services and resources, and then capacity building of human resource and defined career paths for nurses and social workers and medical professionals, the elderly participation in decision-making process, and then strong political will to allocate resources which can optimize the issues and the various sectors of development, and at the same time the care of the elderly can also take place in that way. That is why when we talk about the developed and developing countries, the life expectancy is one important dimension which clearly shows the number of years the elderly people are going to be further in this society. For instance, when we talk about developed countries, when life expectancy, when we talk about at the age of 60, projections clearly shows that those elderly who are in developed countries, their life expectancy after attaining 60 will become 21 years in the case of men, and in the case of women, it will be to the extent of 25 years. In the case of developing countries, men will survive for another 18 years after attaining 60 plus, and in the case of women, it goes to the extent of 20 years. That is why when we talk about developing countries, quality of life matters, very important, and they become very different. Similar is the case with regard to the living arrangements. Living arrangements of older people are changing with modernization of society. Family size are decreasing and intergenerational support systems are changing, and living in a multi-generational households is still, no doubt it is a norm in the developing countries. Living independently, that is either alone or with a spouse only, is rare among older people in these societies, but it is a dominant living arrangement in the case of developed countries. Globally, it is estimated that 40% of the world older population live independently with no discernible difference by sex. Almost half of women living independently in these societies. By contrast, only a minority of older men live alone. That is why the living arrangements plays an important role. If we look at the international responses for these things, the Madrid International Plan of Action on Aging, in a short form MIPA, is another important aspect which for every 5 years after World Assembly on Aging, MIPA is reviewed across different countries, and the priority areas for focus through this action plan is in the areas of older persons and development, advancing health and well-being into old age, and enabling supportive and environment. It implies at the end, when we talk about developed and developing countries, we need to know that some of the determinants that are to be focused is very important, and older persons' health is another important priority, and how these countries differ in terms of the wealth for these elderly, their health, the social, psychological and other aspects of quality of life has a huge difference. One hopes that over a period we will be able to bridge the gap that exists between developed and developing countries, so that the quality of life of elderly in all societies can be assured and taken care of.